我的父母丢弃我。
I did not know what is the future that is holding for me.
我不知道我的未来有什么样的前途。
站在台上分享童年经历的是来自印度的牧师馨香娜 Sinchina。他一出生就被父母遗弃，领养家庭里的哥哥姐姐也对他百般刁难，每天必须5点起床做家事，犯了错免不了一阵毒打。感受不到爱的他，6岁就企图吞老鼠药轻生。悲惨的经历造就了他极度谦卑柔软的心，也让他特别关怀印度众多孤儿的需要。菲利西亚是快乐的意思，也用来描述花朵盛开。而这个称作菲利西亚孩童之家的孤儿院，隐含着 Sinchina 深切的盼望。他从一开始的2个人，10余年来陆续照顾了70几个孤儿。他的先生叫安东尼牧师也鼎力相助。虽然2人拥有的不多，却给予孩子满满的爱和安全感，盼望这些孩子能找回喜乐，生命也能如花盛开。
朋友们你好，欢迎来到今天的真情部落格。今天呢，来到我们现场的来宾，他是从印度来的。其实他一出生就遭到了亲生父母亲的遗弃，成了孤儿，童年生活过得非常破碎。但现在他却成立了一个自己的孤儿院，收容了很多可能跟他一样有悲惨遭遇的孤儿们。今天来到我们现场，跟我们一起分享他的生命故事。欢迎 Sinchina， Welcome Sinchina。Thank
you so much.
It's our pleasure can have you here to be our guest. And we know that you were an orphan. So what happened to your parents?
Like when I was born in a Hindu family in India. In India, Hindus believe in the astrology, like fortune tellers. They go and ask if the child is born for a good fortune or bad fortune. So when I was born, they found out I was born for a bad fortune. If they would take me home, they believed that my fortune teller, that I was a very bad luck and the father of mine would die. So rather they chose to leave me back behind the hospital.
Wow.
And then they just left.
So they didn't take you home?
They didn't take me home. So I was in the hospital 3 days, and on the 3rd day nobody took me home. So they chose to leave me near the trash.
Oh, really?
Yes. And at that time, on the 3rd day, there was a nurse in the hospital. She was not on the duty for 3 days, and she joined back to work on 3rd day. When she came to the hospital, and then she was heard that from the other staff, there was a child left by parents because of the not fortune. So that was the time she rushed to see the child if it was there still. And when she found out I was still there near the trash alive, so she adopted me.
Wow.
When she adopted me, she also had about her own 6 kids, and then she had already adopted 3 other children.
So 9 kids?
Yes, she already had 9 kids.
So did she treat you well?
Like that same year, she was paralyzed. The year she adopted me, she was paralyzed, she was bedridden.
Oh, okay, I see.
Of course, she had a good heart to raise me up as one of her child. But because she was not able to do anything, some of her other children who stayed in her house at that time, they did not have that heart that what she had to raise me up as a child in the family. So I was growing up in their family I don't know if I grew up as a maid or if I grew up as a child in that family, because I remember I was doing every work in that family, like cleaning the house and mopping the house, or cleaning the dishes and washing their clothes of these many. And even my mother who adopted me, I used to oil massage her, and then I also used to give her a shower, and then I would go to the well and to bring the water. And this would never end. Morning you get up, you begin your life with doing all the work. Then you suddenly realize the time of our school. Then I would run to school. I would be very late in the school. then I would never want to come back home in time because I know when I go back home, I have to work again.
Oh.
So even the school was very near, I would come very, very late. And then every day I also got the punishment in the house. I was beaten.
Wow.
In the broom, I was beaten in the shoes. And there used to be electric wires, and they used to take the electric wire and they would hit me, and then they would call me, oh, you are here in our house to serve us. You have to do all the work for us.
So what was your reaction to their mistreatment?
To avoid their shoutings and bad words and abusive words and also their beatings, I would want to do anything they tell me to do. But even if I did everything they tell me to do, I found out I was not able to avoid these beatings and abusive words. So that would really pull my mind down, and then I was always in fear of my life, and also I did not know who are my people, whom I should be able to trust. And I could not trust anybody, and I could not go and call anybody in love, and then also I could not expect my love from anyone.
And you even tried to hurt yourself?
Yes, I was hurting myself in the age of 6 years.
Oh, wow.
That was the first time I tried to commit suicide. There was a rat poison in the house, so I consumed that. But when I took that, I found out on third day I was alive again. And then they all shouted at me, and they really were very angry at me, and they told me I should not do that. But I did not understand why I should not do that, because there was no reason that I should not do that. But they did not explain to me anything. Then I just go on with my life. That's how. And as I was growing in that house, my 7th grade exam was very, very important exam that time. So, but I would never have enough time to study. I always have to work and then go to school and then come back. I get beatings in the school, beatings in the house. And
so your performance at study is not so good?
Not so good, never was good. So in the school, one of the reason it was never a good because I always worry too much.
Yes.
When I sit for studies also, I cannot concentrate.
Yes.
And then there was not a time that I could sit and study and to do my homework and then learn what they taught in the school. I was not able to concentrate also in the school. But when I did not do very well in the 7th grade, my result was very, very poor. And I thought I have no future now because if I fail, I know they will not send me to school. So I will have to stay back home and do only what they tell me to do. And that was very scary. And I thought my future finished and I cannot do anything now. So that was the time I felt I have to finish my life. And that was the time I took a lot of sleeping tablets. And then that was the time I tried to kill myself. But that was a very serious thing. It was more than 100 sleeping tablets.
Wow.
But I did not die. On the third day, I was alive. And then all the members of the family, they said, why are you doing this? If you really want to die, you should die. You should not be alive. But if you have to be survived like this, so many things. I am not able to understand what was going on.
But have you ever thought about to, ask some other adult, like your neighborhood or like your teacher, to help you?
Actually, when I was in the 3rd grade, I remember in the school there was a lady who used to come about 3 months. She came once in a month with a little money in her hand, maybe about 25 NT. And then with a packet of biscuit. She would come, she would hold me so tight and then kiss all over my face. And then she would go back. I used to be waiting for this lady every month to come back again because she is giving me little money and a packet, of biscuit. And then after 3 months, I found out she never came back.
Oh.
And that was the time, during that time, one of my class teacher was noticing all this. And then when she did not come, she asked me, do you know who was that lady who came and visited you? I said, I don't know.
Yes.
And that was the time my class teacher told me, that was your mother.
Oh.
And that was very, very shocking to me.
Your real mother?
Yes. That was very, very shocking to me. So that's how I was always, waiting for my mother to come back. And always I used to remember every day, hoping that one day she will come back. But she never came back. And the 7th grade, when I did not die, I used to always remember her. If she was there, whatever I am, even if I didn't study well, I know she would love me. Even if I didn't do work, she would love me. Even if even sometimes I used to be very tired and sick. Nobody asked me if I needed some medication and I needed to take some rest, if I needed to eat some food. Nobody would ever ask me all this.
No one cared.
No one really cared. And that was really making me very sad.
Yes.
Because I would never get scared of any work, any amount of work to do. But all I cared was somebody would just love me.
But how about your foster mother? Even she's so sick, but did she show any care of you?
When she saw me, I was in the 7th grade and I took all the sleeping tablets. She thought maybe she need to change my place of staying. So she decided that she will send me to one of her elder son's house. And when I went there, of course they kept me, but I was not like a member of the family. I have to work in their hotel.
You still have to work.
I have to work in the family.
Yeah.
And my workload actually increased. In that house, they had the water tanks, very big water tanks. You need to go to the well in the farm, pull the water and fill the tanks of the water.
Heavy work.
Heavy work, yes. It would be sometimes, 50 to 100 parts of water you have to go and pull and bring and then fill the tanks. So there were about 3 to 4 tanks like that. I have to do that. And then there were many men in that family who were looking to me all the time with bad attitudes, and that was very dangerous for me. So even if I have to go to sleep in the night time, I would be so scared. I would not sleep and I would be sitting on my bed, keeping my eyes wide open. Who would hurt me in any time if I sleep? It was not easy. It was a mental torture for me. It was I was really harassed physically, also beaten by people and abused in words that would really make me very upset. Now I'm a teenager. I'm not a small girl. So if anybody would say you are a cursed one, you should not leave, you should die. If you leave, you are always cursed. You will never come up in life. So these were the words, I believed them. So that was the time I thought, I cannot take care of myself, I have to kill. And one day, when I was thinking like that, there was somebody in the family, they said, there is a book, this you read, this will change your life. It's the Bible. So I began to open and read. They didn't tell me how to read, they just said, you read. And one day in particular, there was a word from the Bible, it comes to me telling me, Isaiah 49, 15 and 16, will your mother forsake you? She will not forsake you. Yet she might forsake you. But I won't forget you. I will not forsake you. I have engraved you in my palm. You are always there before me. When I read that, there were many questions running in my mind. Was I there before you all the time? And then you saw me, everything that I went through. And then you didn't do anything. So I'm asking somebody who is talking to me through the Bible. So I knew that day, there is a God in this book who is talking to me. And that was the day I said, I don't know who you are. I believe somebody is there who is talking to me. I give my life to you. I know you are my mother. You are my father. And that was the day I gave my life to the Bible. I did not even know that was kind of Jesus. I have to give my life. And then I said, no matter what, I'm going to read the Bible. I'm going to read differently from that day on. I all of a sudden that night changed my life. I began to wipe the tears. I was kind of very joyful, and there was a kind of peace coming into my heart. And then that was first day of my life, maybe I slept in peace.
So after you read in Bible, your life was changed.
Yes, from that day on to read the Bible, I would get up more earlier than before. If I got up at 5 o'clock, I decided to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning just to read the Bible. And I would cry, I would sing to the Lord. I would sing some songs which I never heard. I would sing, yes. I would weep so much after reading the Bible, and that would comfort me so much. I would wait for this time that I would be alone to read the Bible and to sing and cry, and then, I would be so comfortable. And as I was doing this, after maybe 1 or 2 years' time, God began to specifically talk to me. Mm-hmm. And from the Gospel of Luke chapter 18, there was one particular verse, Jesus talking to Peter in that verse, for my sake, if you would leave your brothers and sisters, mothers and father, and the husband, wife, and whatever you leave it for me, I would bring it back to you many folds, and also eternal life. And for me, when I read that, I would be so excited, but also I would be very fearful. God, are you telling me this word to leave everybody, leave everything?
To leave the family?
Yeah. And one day I decided I would leave the house. Mm-hmm. I was that time maybe 17 years old.
But where to go? You still didn't know?
I didn't know, but there was a man, and I heard him speak, like preach. He said in his preaching, if there was anybody who want to serve the Lord, who want to commit their life to the Lord, and then if they really make a decision, I would help them.
Yeah.
And this had struck in my mind. So I found out where he lives, which city he lives. I did not have the exact address, but I knew which city. And then I just took maybe Bible, and then I robbed a little money to go by bus, and then I left the village. And then when I landed in that place, and then with someone's help in the bus stop, I went to their house. He invited me inside the house. He gave me a plate of food to eat that night, and he showed me a place to sleep. When I got up in the morning, I found out the people where I lived, there was one person standing in the house.
Oh, okay.
It was very shocking and very threatening for me.
So they took you home?
They took me home, and they took the firewood, and they hit me very bad. And then that time when they hit me, I was not scared. I was kind of very stubborn. And then I said, whatever you want to do, you can do. And I know I love Jesus. It was like almost another year. I was 18 years that time. And that was the time God's saying to me was very strong. And I knew this is the time I need to leave the house. I didn't know where to go. So I went, and in the hotel, I told my older brother. He could not understand. Immediately he pushed me outside.
Oh.
And then he said, today is the last day I want to see you. Oh. And you are dead to us, and we are dead to you.
信仰给予 Cynthia 力量，走出人生的死因幽谷，也让她有机会认识身为牧师的先生。然而，童年家庭的阴影挥之不去，让她在关系中格外没有安全感，婚姻与家庭之路充满挑战。
When we got married, she thought I am the only person for her. I'm the only world for her. So she had this very insecurity, and she always was very possessive about me, that I should not talk to anybody, I should not meet another girl or talk to another girl, and I was kind of sometimes over-friendly. After 2 years, I began to understand her heart, her mind. I began to understand why is she doing that, and she began to understand my family background, where I come from, the way we are very close as brothers and sisters. Even as a family, we have, as parents and mother and father, we are very, very close. So she began to realize, oh, this is different, and where I come from is different. And then I begin to understand where she comes from is different, and I come from different.
事实上，我去印度的目的是因为希安东尼牧师要教我读经，还要教我 Bible study。 但是牧师是一个很严格的人，所以我几乎花很长的时间在那边读经。然后呢，读一读我就觉得很累了，那我可不可以不要再读了？我跟新拉牧师抱怨说，就开玩笑跟他说：“你看为什么你先生要这样对我呢？你不觉得太严格了吗？”然后新拉牧师就说 ：“It's very right， 就是说非常好，这是正确的。”然后我就会跟他说 ：“You what a couple， 就是说你们是怎样一对夫妻？就是只要先生说什么，只要牧师说什么，然后师母就会附和他，就会听他的意见，然后师母也不会讲太多。”
第一次逃家失败，辛奇娜被逮回家，被痛打了一顿。不过他说他心里头并不害怕，甚至后来他又继续尝试。So did you try again to planning to run away?
Yes, I knew the Lord was calling me, and I was very determined. And though during that time, in that family, there was one girl who was very close to me. We were like friends. And she was going to get married. Mm-hmm. And before her marriage, she was already engaged. And then her fiancé had come down to see her one day. And they were talking to me. They asked me what's my name and what I was doing. And then I was very sincere. I told them, I believe in Jesus. And I want to serve Jesus. I want to live for Him. When they heard me, he just said something that really struck me. He said, if you are really serious, if you really want to serve the Lord, I think I can help you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is He going to help me?
Yes.
And then one day, it was like almost another year. I was 18 years that time. And that was the time God saying to me was very strong. And I knew this is the time I need to leave the house. Mm-hmm. I didn't know where to go. Mm-hmm. But this man, what he said to me was always coming to my mind. And then I knew the address they had given me. So I said, this time I'm not going to run away without telling anybody. I'm going to tell them, and then I'm going to leave the house. So I went, and in the hotel, I told my older brother. He could not understand. Yes. Immediately he pushed me outside. Oh. And then he said, today is the last day I want to see you. Oh. And you are dead to us, and we are dead to you. You are no more alive to us. So I was 18 years. I left the house with 2 pairs of clothes in my bag. I came to this city. So when I went to their house, my friend and her husband knew I would do this one day. They were happy. But in their house, there were 18 people.
Wow.
So they have to tell everybody why I came, what I'm going to do there. It was not easy for them.
But they kept you.
They gave me a place to stay. In order to that, I have to be very grateful in doing everything. If they would just send me to the church, I'm very, very happy. So every Sunday I went to church. Every fasting prayer I went. And every prayer meeting they held in the church that I went, I would ask the permission. I would do every work in that family in order they just give me a permission to go for prayers. So this went on almost a year.
And I know that your husband is a pastor, so how did you two get to know each other?
During this time of my stay in that house in this 1 year, the church that I was attending also had a youth camp in other city. So my church team were going to that youth camp, and to that youth camp there were many churches from different towns and cities also had come.
Yes.
So in that 3 days of youth camp, they had given chance to all the churches people to share a kind of testimony how the Lord touched each one of their lives.
Yeah.
So that was the time our youth leader, they pushed me on the stage.
Wow.
And they said, why don't you share the testimony? And then I finished my testimony. After I shared my testimony, I think almost all the people were crying, and then many people came to me. They took my address. They wanted to know if I needed some help from them, and some people want to take me home to their homes, and they were asking me if I would go and stay with them. They would help me to, do many things. But when I came back home, and then the next day my pastor asked me to come and see him. And then he said there was a young man. He was listening to my testimony like any other people, but God spoke to him.
Yes.
She would be his wife.
Wow.
And then he didn't say anything. He came back, and when he came back, he looking for my pastor, and then he went and met him.
But you didn't know him.
I didn't know him.
He is kind of stranger to you, right?
Yes, yes. I told my pastor, I have not come here to get married. I'm come here to serve the Lord. And then my pastor simply, he said, he is in the ministry, the man, God spoke to him. And then if you want to take time to fast and pray. So I went back, I fasted for 15 days. And then I prayed, and I came back to tell my pastor. When I was seeking God, and God said, yes, I would marry this man.
Wow.
So my pastor was kind of surprised. He asked me if I wanted to see the man. I said, anyway, now I have to see him. But if I saw him or not, God said to me, yes, this is the man. So our engagement took place in a couple of days of time in the past, in my pastor's house. But during that time, in that maybe not couple of days, maybe few months, that time he had already told his parents. His parents are very prayerful, very godly Christians. They're very, very committed. So when he told them about me, and they had not seen me, but his father, mother, very prayerful people, they took time to pray about me. So when they were praying, they knew God is telling the right person for his life. So they told, we want to see the girl. And then they prayed, and then they saw me, and then his mother told him, you have made the right choice. You have heard from the Lord the right. And she is the person for your life.
But when you two actually got together, was everything going well?
He is totally different personality. I am totally different personality. There were so many things I disliked in him, he disliked in me. And sometimes we would have good time laughing together, enjoying our time together. But sometimes he would not like each other at all. So we said, for a time, we said, it's not going to work out. And we said bye-bye to each other. And then he told me something like this, broken engagement is better than broken marriage. So I thought maybe that is true, and then we broke our engagement. We said bye to each other, and we disappeared. And then we did not meet for maybe 4 to 5 months. We never heard from each other. And that was the time God is talking to me. And then God began to show me from different angle why I should marry him. And then when my husband was praying, he also saw Jesus and me and my husband. He was still not my husband, but it was in a triangle that we would not escape. It was Jesus is holding us together. So we came together again, and then we were so close and became so good friends, and we felt we cannot live without each other.
So you got married in short time?
Yeah, after a few months, exactly from the time of engagement to marriage, it was 1 year of time, we got married.
But in the past, you were so hurt by your family. So for the new family members, how did you feel about them?
They were a very wonderful family. They were very attached to one another. They were very loving. They were very compassionate. When I looked at this family, I couldn't believe there could be also family like this in the world. Because I never seen one like that.
Yes.
They were very knit together. They are 7 brothers and sisters, and father and mother. They are very soft and warm in heart, and their approach is so different. When I gave birth to my first son, I didn't know how to express my love, and I wanted to be a serious mother because he's a pastor, and then I'm a pastor wife, and then now I'm a mother. So I really wanted to be seriously a very good mother. So my approach to my baby was not full of love, but to take care of him, feed him, and keep him clean, and all this stuff in my mind, and feed him, and things like that. But every time when I saw my husband, he was very different towards my son. So when I watched my husband, I really kind of think, I wonder how he would do that, So I learned a lot of things also from him. And then I know I didn't have a good childhood. I didn't know how to take care of the children, but I would every day pray and ask God how to do.
So after you have your own 2 babies,
Yes.
then you start to think about maybe you can take care of other orphans?
Actually, after I got married, I had told my husband, the first thing I explained to him was, I want to take care of the orphan children. The reason, after I know Jesus, my life radically changed. And when Jesus came into my life, I know I am forgiven, I am accepted, whoever I was. Even though I was cursed, I was broken, I was not having family background, I was not beautiful. And when I know I'm created in the image of God, I was so happy. God would not make a mistake. I could trust Him completely. And I began to understand so radically, if every orphan in the world understand this and knowing Jesus, they are not orphan, they have a father, mother, that is only through Jesus, and their life will become so secure.
Yes.
So immediately after I got married, I told my husband, I would like to do this. But he is a pastor, his vision is to raise leaders. So that time he said, it's not possible because our vision is totally different. So that's it. I did not talk to him after that.
So how did you start?
In this 10 years of time, I was praying. I said, God, one day you would bring this to happen.
Yes.
So in the 10th year of our marriage, I still told him, I talked to him. And when we were thinking this, there were 2 orphan children approached to us and they asked us if we knew somebody who would take care of them. So that was the time, why somebody? We want to take care of them. So that's how it happened. So we took these 2 little children. They were little older to my 2 sons.
And were they easy to take care of?
It was not at all easy. It was not easy. It was my vision. So I was very, very careful that it would not burden my husband. So I used to be planning my day, what time I will get up, what I will do with the children, how I will help my husband, how will I take care of the family. I would each day plan it very well so that he would not be offended by my taking these children inside. It's not that he did not have a heart, but he was thinking because we did not have money, we did not have so many things, no.
Yes.
So it was not easy and I didn't have any help. I in fact needed help that time.
And how did your own children react?
My children, it was surprising for them. It was also kind of, the house was very small.
Yes.
And then children also wanted their space. And then my elder son, especially seeing me giving shower to these children, feeding these children, cooking for these children, each child was going to school in different timings. So my attention also was drawn towards those children. So it was very difficult. So in the evening, when they came back from school, I would sit down on a mat and I would keep these 4 children, like 2 of mine and these kids who came in, and then I would sit with them to study it and teach them and again to cook for them and feed them and all this. So when this was happening, my children were a little bit kind of disturbed, but I had to explain to them, no, God loves them. They don't have anybody. They have come to us thinking, we are their parents and you are their brothers too. So we need to take them. And there used to be fights, there used to be dislikings in the family. So you always go and stop them fight and then you just talk to them, counsel them and tell them what is right and what is wrong. It was not at all easy. It was very challenging. But I think because I had the heart to do it, I wouldn't think it's a big burden for me.
Yes.
And I would enjoy doing it. And then I would look to God. I said, God, you have given me this burden. You will also give me strength to do this.
Yes.
And with your strength, I think I will be able to do it. During this time, nobody would want to give the house for renting to run an orphanage. So
that is the biggest challenge to you?
Yes. Even now, it is a big
Even now?
Yeah. Because in 10 years of time, I changed about 9 times.
Wow.
In 8 years, every year we changed the house.
馨娜在朋友家中示范着拿手的炒饭，当初她就是用一道道的好菜喂饱孤儿院的孩子们， 而凡事亲力亲为的她，不只照顾孩子们的饮食，也重视他们的教育和身心灵各方面的需要。
他们在印度其实是非常竞争的。你知道印度人也很聪明，尤其印度的我们知道印度是软体很强，然后他们的数学观念是非常非常强的，所以当他们在进入像比如他们读一些机电科系啊之类，你可以想象他们竞争是蛮大的。然后他们在读这些科系的时候，牧师会再去额外的请人。不管是来自愿的来帮助他们，或者是说稍微用一些钱，花一些钱请一些家教，他都要去请人，额外在这些孩子放学之后，额外再还来教导他们课业上的。
She's very, very careful in some ways, like not beating them, not being very hard on them, but she just spends a lot of time in praying with them and teaching them.And then showing a lot of love and affection that most orphanages will not be able to do. I could care for them, I could love them to an extent, but to get to the depth of how she is doing, go to that level of being like a mother to them, it's really very tough. So I think it's not only just giving them food and a shelter for the children and giving some clothes. Our way of relating with the children goes beyond that. It goes beyond to where it touches my heart, it touches the heart of many different people.
贾娜因为自己是孤儿，有非常破碎的童年，所以她对孤儿也特别有负担。除了一刚开始呢，自己收养了2个孤儿。回来之后，后来越收养越多，甚至就变成了一个孤儿院。So how many kids that you take in after these years? How many kids?
By now we have taken care of 70 children. Some of them finished education and got married, and some has finished education, working already. And then some right now we are having 32 children in the
What
kids
kind
home.
of background of these kids are?
There are also background of children like temple prostitution. In India, this is one of the thing, and in that the women don't get married, but they are being dedicated when the girls are very small to the temple. Once she come to maturity, and then she have to satisfy the men that they come by roadside in the temple.
Yes.
And then she get conceived, and she never know who is the husband. And then that child also she cannot take care, because she is also very young, and then it's very difficult for her. And that kind of children also we have. And then we have children who parents died of sickness and diseases due to many reasons, and that kind of children also we have. So we also have children of like some of these children who are from the temple prostitution. So when this mother bought these 2 boys, and they were very little, like 4 and 5 years, and she came and left them with us, and then we were happy to have them, looking at her background and her situation and her lifestyle. But that time she was also very sick in the body. After 1 year she died. So these children, like they grew up, we became the father and mother to them. And then they are really a very bright children. And in the last year, and one of this child have scored in the school, in the rank, he is come in high score.
Yeah.
So he has done so well in the exam, and he's a very smart child, and he's also a very good artist. So he can draw so beautifully, so well. So these are the background children we have. When I look at these children, their life is transformed.
Yeah.
When they came in the beginning, for them it was very strange, the atmosphere and the new people. And everything is for them so fearful. But after they came, first thing I tell them, I explain to them about Jesus, why they are not orphans, and they no need to fear. They are God's children. Even if their father, mother is there, what Jesus can do, their father, mother cannot do. And I explain about my life. And there is a hope for them when they look at me each time. And some of the children, sometimes we, when we talk to them, we ask, like what you want to become, whom you are looking as an example. They will say, we want to become like you. So I tell them, you have a better life than me. It's just not becoming like me. Jesus has made each one of you differently, and he wants to give a different life to each and every one of you.
But how are you able to take care of so many kids all by yourself?
Now we have some staff, but in the beginning, like when I had at least 6 to 12 children, I was only managing alone. And when there was so much, when our house got crowded, like there was, it was really getting everything messed up. So that was the time we planned to rent another house just right opposite to my house, so that I would be there, I would be here both the times. So with my husband, from that time, he was so supportive, and it has become part of his life also.
Okay.
And we both together, I helped him, he helped me. So it's not like it's your vision, it's my vision. His vision is mine, mine is his. So we both are trying to do everything. So in order for children to have future, and for our life also to be in peace. So this is how it started. But in this time, during this time, nobody would want to give the house for a renting to run an orphanage. So
that is the biggest challenge
yes,
to you?
yes. Even now it is a big
Even now?
Yeah. Because in 10 years of time, I changed about 9 times.
Wow.
In 8 years, every year we changed the house. Boys' home was different and the girls' home was different. Our office was in different place. So it was very difficult. Sometimes you attend the problem in the girls' home, and sometimes attend the problem in the boys' home. And then, so much of energy and so much you are taking time in each places, it is becoming too much. And I'm not able to concentrate on the other ministry that I'm also doing, and also the family. And that was the time we found another house. Just 2 years ago, it was one building. We have boys' home and the girls' home, and also our office. But we are also having a land bought already. We are looking to build the orphanage. In the future, I want to build the orphanage for 100 children in one time.
Wow.
Where we can take care, because there are many orphans. But I believe strongly to give the children education, because when I was growing up, I wanted to be very educated. I believed in education. I wanted to be educated. I wanted to stand on my own, and I wanted to be a lawyer, and then I could not.
So how did you help them to get better education?
Actually, in the beginning, I sent them to government school, public school, but in India, public schools are helping. They are not helping, because you, in the home, when their children are there, you teach them to pray, you teach them how to be good, what is right and wrong. But when I send them to these public schools, there is not really good education in all the government schools, especially where I live in that area. I don't have a school bus or anything to send them, so they need to go by walk. So when they go to school, and when there is no teachers teaching them lessons, and then children end up playing outside in the ground and go to different places, and then evening they come back, and then I see them, they're so different. What I taught them, it's not there, and they behave differently. So I had to make immediately quick decision to change their schooling. So I sent them to private school. It costs a lot of money. That's the reason the facility that I give them, if I send them to public school, I will not have to spend so much. But the environment in the school is very good. So immediately, if my children do any mistake, immediately the principal will ring up to me and she will call me and talk to me. So I can attend this problem immediately.
And you just mentioned about your husband is quite supportive of what you're doing now. And how about your own children?
Yes, in the beginning we had tough time, but now they adopted this one of their daily life.
Yeah.
So they look to them like their brothers and sisters. My younger son plays with them, take turns to sometime to coach them.
They are older now, right? They are like 20 something?
My elder son is 20 years, my younger son is 17 years. Till this year,
so they can help you?
Yes. My younger son was helping in teaching some of the children mathematics, because it's very tough for me. I don't know some of the maths now, because every year it changes. My oldest son is more like a leader. So when he's there, he's like leader. Then children know they have to listen to him and they have to look up to him.
Yeah.
They also sometimes tell me how I need to improve the work, what I'm doing. They said, you should do this way, you should do this way. So that will help you, and that will also help the children. They also give me some kind of suggestions.
So your plan about future is like you want to build up the bigger
Yeah, that's
orphanage.
one of the reason I'm really looking to God and praying to God that God would give me the money so that we can put up this orphanage, come up very quickly. Because that is very important, because to be in the rented building, it is very difficult. It is becoming really difficult. Because sometimes when your neighbors complain about your children, and then if the owner of the building asks us to vacate, then we simply have to vacate. And to find another rented building to run the orphanage, it is not at all easy. So it has been a real challenge. So that's why I'm praying, and I'm also looking forward for the fund to come in to have the building come up soon, so that we can also have more children come in, and then we can really shape many beautiful lives of these orphan children, to give them education, and most importantly, give the love of God to them.
And at the end of this interview, do you have anything else want to share with the audience?
The Bible says very, very clearly, your father, mother might forsake you, but I will receive you. And that is so very true. Every human being in the world, some or the other way, they feel orphan, even after they having husband, after having a father, mother. So I want everyone to know Jesus as their Savior, so that you are not orphan. But at the same time, I also appeal to people is that whoever is watching, and then please help me to continue this work in a beautiful way. If God speaks to you, if you think you need to help me to raise these children up, to give them the future that God wants to give them, that if you want, you may have hard to do, but you cannot do like what I'm doing, but you can help me financially or in your prayer, so that I can beautifully make a future of these orphan children.
其实在他故事里头真的看到，我就想到一个非常有名的故事《悲惨世界》，是这么一个小女孩，然后这么破碎童年，从小就被遗弃，然后被虐待，一本书改变她的人生，而现在这样的改变，她希望透过神的爱去改变其他的孩子，真让人觉得非常感动。Thank you。
神迹对许多人来说是生命当中一次特别的经历，但是对基督徒而言，神迹则是上帝在我们一生当中工作的痕迹。在今天，我们听见从印度来的馨香娜牧师他生命的故事。从小是一个被抛弃的孤儿，被认领长大的孩子。在他的故事里，我们看见了印度孤儿工作的实况。整个印度社会从自然环境到社会阶级到男女性别的问题，在他的生命故事里，我们真的看到层层叠叠的困难。这么大的困难，一个女性，一个孤儿，怎么能够突破？怎么能够反身成为孤儿的祝福呢？我们看到馨香娜牧师生命的故事，若不是因为上帝的手一步一步地带领他，让他从被抛弃的孩子到被认领，从不认识上帝的爱到经历上帝的爱，从经历上帝的爱到进一步能够与人分享上帝的爱，这么多的工作，我们看到的岂不正是神迹吗？就是上帝一步又一步，借着馨香娜牧师的生命，成为更多孤儿的祝福。亲爱的朋友，其实孤儿并不会仅仅只是生命里被父亲和母亲抛弃的孩子，叫做孤儿。在我们的生命里面，举凡我们的心中觉得我们是不被爱的，我们是不值得被爱的，我们是不值得被好好款待的，这样的生命是一个孤儿的生命。我们常常觉得，我若没有努力的做一些什么样的事情，我大概是不配得别人无条件的接纳我。所以我们看到馨香娜牧师他所分享的，在寄人篱下的日子，他要非常努力的满足那一些 领养家庭的哥哥姐姐们各种不合理的要求。如果没有无条件的接纳，我们的生命其实就过着孤儿的生命。而这个孤儿的生命，正恰恰好是基督教的信仰要带给我们一个极大的释放。因为耶稣在他曾经教导我们祷告的时候，他这样说：他说，每一次当我们祷告，开口的第一句话就是“我们在天上的父”。原来这一位天父要用他极深的爱来改变我们这一个非常固着的思想，说我是不可爱的，我是不配得爱的，因为我不是全班第一名，我不是全校最优秀的，我不是整个国家最优秀的，所以我不值得被爱。亲爱的朋友，这一位耶稣他对我们的爱远远超过我们的身份、我们的地位、我们的角色。而这位耶稣要充满我们生命的，并不是他要充满在我们的钱包里，这位耶稣也不是要充满在我们的履历当中，这位耶稣要充满的是我们的心。我们紧紧关起来，不认为自己值得被爱、应该被爱的心。神愿今天我们透过馨香娜牧师的分享，能够邀请这位耶稣住到你的心中，让你成为一位天父的儿女。我们一起祷告。亲爱的天父，谢谢你爱我，不论我的背景如何，你已经将我视为你所爱的孩子。你为我的生命付上最大的代价，就是差派了你的独生爱子为我钉在十字架上。谢谢主，谢谢亲爱的天父，你如此爱我。愿你打开我紧闭的心扉，让我接受耶稣做我生命的主。这是我的祷告，愿你垂听，奉耶稣基督的名求，阿们。亲爱的朋友，深愿你打开你的心，接受耶稣基督做你生命的主，你就可以跟我一样成为天父所爱的儿女。